Hi, my name is Kat Thompson. I've spent the last 40 years exploring emotion as a technology, and what I've found has been startling and insightful. I'd love to share a few things with you now. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is anger. Anger is a strong emotion that terrifies many people. Most of us have been on the receiving end of inappropriate anger, and probably most of us have been on the giving end of inappropriate anger too. So when I started to explore emotion, one of my big questions was, what's it for? Why do we have feelings? Why do we have these really strong feelings like anger, which can turn into rage and can be very dangerous? And what I learned is that there is an expression of emotion that's immature, and then there's a process that an emotion goes through to become mature. And the expression of an immature emotion to a mature emotion is night and day. It is really quite different, and for a good reason. Immature emotion is a flag, it's a message. It says something's not right here, and when you follow the process to maturation, you find yourself in a completely different reality. So I'm going to talk about anger. There are 5 master emotions that I work with, but anger is my favorite really to work with. Immature anger is stuck in a victim reality. So I have to back up a little bit and talk about victim reality versus creator reality. A victim reality is one where bad things can happen to you for no reason, just out of the blue, and had nothing to do with you. A victim reality says you have very little power in whatever the situation is. A victim reality says it's not my fault, somebody else is to blame. And a victim reality says I need to be right and they need to be wrong. So if there's a conflict, somebody has to be right and somebody has to be wrong. It's a very polarized reality, victim reality, and we are all immersed in it right now. A creator reality is a reality where everything that we experience, in our experience, every single thing we have been a co-creator of, meaning that whether it's because we have subconscious imprints or whether we are consciously creating, everything that comes to us is coming because we have an agreement. And so I was very interested in the unconscious magnetic field that drew, events to me that I didn't want, I didn't think that I wanted. And what those events were doing was that they were showing me hidden beliefs that I had, or hidden imprints or wounds from very early in life that needed to be opened up and looked at. Immature anger is a feeling that surges through the body. And if we act on it in that moment, it can be uncomfortable for us and for the people around us. Immature anger can be overly emotional, which is usually a trigger. People tend to mistrust overly emotional reactions because there's a chance that reaction might become dangerous, okay? And immature anger needs to be right. So it's going in, if you act on immature anger, you're going to go in as in a fighting mode. You're going to go in needing to be right and proving somebody else is wrong. And that does not solve anything. Our bodies are hardwired to mature an emotion from one way to another. So there's a whole process that anger can go through to end up on the mature side. Evolving anger from immature to mature is a process that the body is hardwired for. Immature anger can go from a victim reality through this process and end up in a creator reality where it's conviction, you're standing in your truth, but also in mature anger. Mature anger is never angry. That was when my first teacher told me that, I really couldn't even understand what that meant. How is anger not angry? Immature anger is very angry. Mature anger is conviction. It's that ability to stand in your truth and to also see other people's truth. So there's a certain connection to the heart that comes from mature anger, where nobody has to be right or wrong. Everybody can be right. The thing that mature anger then does is it sets good boundaries with other people. You can have your truth, I can have my truth. Here's where we're not going to agree on things. We can agree to just walk away from that area. And here's how we can be in relationship together. So communication about anger when you're angry is not a good idea. It's always better to go through this process by yourself of maturing your own anger, get to your little aha moment where you see, oh, I see where they're right, I see where I'm right, I see where those two things overlap, and I see where they don't meet. And then you go and you have your conversation with the other person. If you'd like to know more about mature anger, feel free to join me at my retreat in Mexico, March 15th through 22nd. Thanks.